pituitary gland and its disorder. Today we will discuss. No, pituitary gland also called master endocrine gland. It controls all the other glands, endocrine glands of the body. Is situated in sella turcica. This pituitary gland is connected to hypothalamus with the pituitary stalk and through the stalk to the hypothalamus. Portal veins carry blood from the hypothalamus to the anterior lobe. Posterior lobe receives nerve fibers from the hypothyroidism. So basically pituitary gland has got two lobes, anterior lobes, posterior lobes. So they are connected to hypothalamus with pituitary stalk. The location of pituitary gland is very important because optic chiasma is just situated above it. Laterally, third, fourth, and sixth cranial nerves are there. So any tumor of pituitary gland will compress these structures and give a typical clinical features where optic chiasma is compressed, third, fourth, and sixth cranial nerves are affected. So patient will have visual disturbances, typical headache, and cranial palsies. So we'll talk about pituitary gland. In these anterior lobes of the pituitary gland, three types of cells are there: chromophobe, eosinophils, basophils. In this chromophobe, it secretes variety of hormones. Eosinophils mostly secrete growth hormone, GH, and prolactin. Basophils, these type of cells mostly secretes ACTH, that is adrenocorticotropic hormones. All these secretions of hormones are controlled by hypothalamus. And hypothalamus and pituitary gland itself, it produces effect by acting on thyroid glands. These thyroid glands secrete hormones which affect the body metabolism and body tissue. So have proper control of hormones, there is a negative feedback mechanism. As the thyroid glands hormones levels increases, so hypothalamus and pituitary gland gets negative feedback, so they release their hormones to the less effect. So the body metabolism, tissue metabolism are maintained to the normal level. The posterior gland, posterior pituitary gland, here does not secrete any hormone, but the hormone synthesized in hypothalamus is transmitted to posterior pituitary gland. From there, it secretes ADH and oxytocin. ADH is antidiuretic hormone. Now, let us see various hormones secreted by pituitary glands and their site of action. If they are excess, what happens? If they are deficient, what disease results? So clinical conditions associated with deficiency and excess. Anterior lobe secretes so many hormones. One is growth hormone. Site of action is all somatic cells. Excess of this growth hormone results in gigantism and acromegaly. Deficiencies of it result in dwarfism, short stature. Adrenocorticotropic hormone, that is ACTH. Site of action is adrenal cortex. Excess of this result in Cushing syndrome. Deficiency result in hypertenism. TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. Site of action is thyroid gland. Excess of it result in hyperthyroidism. Deficiency result in hypothyroidism. Prolactin, this have effect on breast, will cause hyperprolactinemia if it is in excess. Gonadotropins, they act on gonads, result in excess, result in hypergonadism. Deficiency result in hypogonadism. Melanocyte stimulating hormone will affect on skin. Excess result in hyperpigmentation. Posterior pituitary gland, from there ADH comes, entire hormones. If action is on kidneys, deficiency result in diabetes insipidus. So we'll discuss all this one by one. We'll take up growth hormone, its excess. It produces a disorder called gigantism and acromegaly. So growth hormone excess we'll discuss acromegaly and gigantism. Growth hormone stimulates bones and soft tissue growth. So secretions of insulin-like growth factor 1, IGF-1. Acromegaly is caused by an excess of growth hormone secreted by pituitary adenoma. It's a microadenoma in adults. If growth hormone hypersecretions or excess occurs early in the life, that is before the fusion of epiphysis, linear growth takes place. That's a tall statured person called gigantism. So before the fusion of epiphysis is causes gigantism. But in adult life, excess of growth hormone, that means after closure of epiphysis, acromegaly results. So clinical features of microadenoma causing acromegaly plus its compression nearby structure. So patient will have clinical features like due to external compression of tumor, visual field defects, cranial palsies. Other symptoms, hormone excess symptoms will be affecting all organs. Symptom signs: Organ is generally it causes normal height, but stout person, stock built. Skin thickening, excessive perspiration, soft tissue, thick lips, macroglossia, large tongue, thick nose, and increase in heel pad. Joints will have arthropathy, muscles, proximal muscles are affected. So patient cannot get from sitting posture. Proximal muscles are affected. It's called myopathy. It's acral parts, long spade-like hands, thick wide fingers, large feet with increasing number of size of toes, requiring every year increasing size of shoes. Apart from jaws, protruding lower jaw called prognathism will be seen, widened teeth spacing, deepening of voice, snoring, hyperhidrosis, oily skin, carpal tunnel syndrome. So various facial features, features in hands, and so many things. Mandibular enlargement, prognathism, frontal bossing. Apart from patient will have, most of patient will have hypertension, diabetes mellitus, cardiomegaly, cholinergic malignancy. So many features patient will have. Now, investigations. In the investigations, growth hormone levels we assess, they are increased. Serum insulin like growth factor 1 IGF is elevated. Diagnosis also confirmed by special test, oral glucose tolerance test. Failure of suppression of growth hormone level by below 1 microgram per liter within 1 to 2 hours of oral glucose load. In normal persons, growth hormones are suppressed below 1 microgram per liter once you give oral glucose. Third will be assessment of other pituitary hormones. MRA done, brain will show demonstrate pituitary tumor, microadenoma. Then X-ray of skull lateral view may reveal enlarged cellular tarsica with destruction of cleaner process. All this to be seen in investigations. Management of acromegaly. Treatment is surgical mostly, though some medicine will act. Tumor has to be resected. So transsphenoidal route of surgery is the first line of treatment. Radiotherapy, external radiation given to the person not responding to surgery. Certain drugs like somatostatin analogs, octreotide can be tried. Growth hormone receptor antagonist, pegbisomant can be tried. Bromocriptine. These drugs are long-acting dopamine agonist. Will growth hormone level decrease by 75%. Dose is 15 to 30 milligram per day in divide dose. So this is all about pituitary hormones in excess and their investigations and management. Now we'll talk about hypopituitarism. Hypopituitarism. Here, maybe due to pituitary disease or hypothalamic dysfunction, there may be single or multiple hormone deficiency. Causes: hypothalamic causes, pituitary causes. Hypothalamic cause: here Kallman syndrome, congenital cause, isolated growth hormone deficiency. Acquired causes are more common: tumors, craniopharyngioma, radiation injury, head injury, tuberculosis. Pituitary causes: tumors, surgery, radiotherapy, autoimmune disease, hemorrhage. Sheehan syndrome. Here there is a pituitary infarction from shock. For example, it's postpartum after delivery hemorrhage there. So pituitary infarction takes place. This syndrome is called Sheehan syndrome. Clinical features of hypopituitarism. So single or multiple hormone deficiency result in different type of clinical features. And the cause, that is a tumor, will give its effect causing headache, double vision called diplopia, visual field defects, etc. And some cases will have panhypopituitarism. That means absence of all anterior pituitary hormones. Here, initially, growth hormone becomes deficient, mostly because of autoimmune process. Then gonadotropins become deficient. Then gradually ACTH become less, TSH become deficient. So that's why the clinic features may differ in individuals as the stage progresses. Initially, growth hormone deficiency results in adults. It produces lethargy, muscle weakness, asthenic features, sometimes central obesity. In childhood, short stature also seen. This is called dwarfism. So here you find person looks like pale, thin skinned, resulting in fine wrinkling around the eyes and mouth. The patient looks older. Later, gonadotropin hormone deficiency results. So there will be hair loss, decreased libido, FSH, LH deficiency. This gonadotropin will cause in female amenorrhea, infertility. In males, it will cause gynecomastia. Next hormone lost is ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormones, will cause mild Addison's disease. So patient have weakness, fatigue, weight loss, hypotension. Finally, last hormone lost is thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH. So secondary hypothyroidism, mild form usually. Patient have weight gain, fatigue, hyperlipidemia, cold intolerance. Now, investigations. MRI scan of brain will show the defect in pituitary or hypothalamus, any tumor, any infiltration, any infection is there or not. Second test will be various levels of pituitary hormones. It should be assessed. And hormones produced by target glands also, versus which will be very low. Stimulation tests are performed to detect deficiencies of these hormones. So, there are the various investigations to help the cause of hypopituitarism and establish hypopituitarism. Treatment. First important thing is removal of underlying cause. If the tumor is there, then best approach is transsphenoidal surgery of the pituitary tumor. Many times require radiation therapy. Other important thing is medical treatment. We call it a substitution therapy or hormone replacement therapy. This hormone replacement therapy needed lifelong. Cortisol or steroid replacement by hydrocortisone or prednisolone in case of ACTH deficiency. Morning 20 mg prednisolone, evening 7 p.m. around 10 mg prednisolone. Mineralocorticoid replacement is usually not required. Now, hypothyroidism is controlled by giving levothyroxine 25 mg to 50 mg given to maintain serum T4 level. Human growth hormone is given subcutaneously to maintain proper growth. Sex hormone replacement in men of any age. So androgen testosterone is given. In female below 50 years, estrogen is required. Last, we'll discuss dwarfism. In this, short stature. This dwarfism may be due to endocrinal and non-endocrinal causes. Endocrinal causes, non-endocrinal causes. Endocrinal cause deficiency of growth hormone or growth hormone releasing hormone, hypothyroidism, malabsorption nutrition, panhypopituitarism, Cushing syndrome, non-endocrinal, achondroplasia, malabsorption, malnutrition, renal diseases, etc. Children with endocrine causes are bulky and overweight with underdevelopment of primary and secondary sexual characters. Investigations. Growth hormone levels taken many times. Second test is stimulation test. IV injection of insulin produces hypoglycemia. In normal person, it produces growth hormone 20 ml per liter. In pituitary dwarfism, no increase in growth hormone. Now, disorder of posterior gland, postpituitary gland. The classical is diabetes insipidus. So, diabetes insipidus is caused by deficiency of antidiuretic hormone ADH or by resistance to the effect of ADH on renal tubules. This disorder is characterized by polydipsia, increased thirst, and passes of an increased amount of dilute urine, that is called polyuria, more than 3 liters per day, due to impaired water resorption by the kidney. Diabetes insipidus, two types. Central diabetes insipidus is because of deficient ADH, antidiuretic hormone. Second is nephrogenic diabetes insipidus, where ADH level is normal but renal tubules are unresponsive to ADH. So we will discuss cause of diabetes insipidus. Central diabetes insipidus causes hypothalamic or pituitary lesions, genetic lesions, idiopathic. So here tumors, head injury, surgery, meningitis, encephalitis. Many times it's idiopathic. Nephrogenic causes. First is genetic, X chromosome linked recessive disorder. Then acquired. So metabolic, hypokalemia, hypercalcemia, drug induced, demiclocycline, methicillin, heavy metals, sometimes chronic infection of the kidney, pyelonephritis, amyloidosis, sickle cell anemia. So these are the causes of diabetes insipidus. Clinical features: age, childhood or early middle life, more common in males. Patient have excessive thirst called polydipsia and passes large amount of dilute urine. We call it as a polyuria. So polyuria, polydipsia. If a patient fluid intake is not maintained, then patient gets dehydration, hypernatremia. Investigations. Very important test is water deprivation test. Plasma osmolality increases and urine is dilute. That is low specific gravity and low osmolality. This will be seen. In central type of diabetes mellitus, diabetes insipidus, ADS level is low and urine osmolality improves on desmopressin. In nephrogenic diabetes insipidus, ADH hormone levels are normal. Serum ADH level is normal and no response to desmopressin. Last test we do is MRI brain to locate tumor in pituitary area. Treatment. Treat the cause. If tumor is there, remove it by surgery, by radiation. Other treatment is giving desmopressin, DDAVP, an analog of ADH, is the drug of choice for central type of diabetic insipidus, usually given intranasally. And for nephrogenic diabetes, hydrochlorothiazide, amiloride, some cases respond to non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs like indomethacin. So these are the treatment. So with this, I will close today's talk on pituitary gland and its disorders.